Hello everyone, welcome to EduTap and also welcome to the government scheme session. The scheme that we are covering today is Swachh Bharat Mission and Gramin. Basically, this particular scheme we are talking about the rural area. So there are two Swachh Bharat mission that are currently going on. One is for the urban area and one is for the rural area. And today we are going to focus on the rural section of India. Okay. But before starting, here is an announcement for all the aspirants who are preparing for central regulatory bodies. We have come up with one-stop solution guide for all your queries that you might be having regarding the organization that you want to join, be it RBI, be it NABARD, be it SEBI. Then your position, what will be your role of responsibility once you join the organization at a particular designation. After that, you must want to know about how to join it. So what is the eligibility criteria, what is the pattern of examination, what is the syllabus of the examination, what are the previous year trends, and all the other details you are going to find in these ebooks. And do mind that whatever query that you have, I am assuring you that all those queries will be solved in these complete e-guidebooks that we have provided to you, and the link of these are present in the description box below. And do mind that these are free of cost, so please do not miss the opportunity. Now let's starting with the session. So see, basically Swachh Bharat mission. So basically Swachh, so we are talking about cleanliness, we are talking about sanitation. Okay, so basically in India the condition of sanitation initially when we got independence, it was not that good. The scheme Swachh Bharat mission was launched in 2014. If we talk about that, before that, and since we got independence in 1947, and since then till 2014, if we talk about the overall sanitation that has reached in India, it was below 39%. So we can look at that how poor condition we had. Also 55 crore people just in rural India, they did not have any toilets at their home or any place to go and defecate, right? So that is why this 2014, keeping in mind the thoughts of Mahatma Gandhi, who was a preacher, who was preacher of cleanliness and sanitation, this particular scheme was launched dedicated to him. So by this we come up with this scheme, and there are two factors to it. One talk about the urban section, one talks about the Gramin section or the rural section. Okay, so we'll focus on this Gramin section in this lecture, and next lecture we'll talk about the urban. Okay, so the launch year of this scheme, so as we have discussed, this was launched in 2014, and say this was the phase 1, and there was a time period that it started in 2014-15 period, and it lasted till 2019-20 financial year. Okay, so financial year from 2014 to 1920 it was there, and they had at that time the aim was different. The aim was to have toilets at home in Gramin household, so that people, they don't go openly defecate. Okay, and we have already achieved that target. So on 2019, in the year 2019, India was declared open defecation free. It means that nobody goes in open for defecation. Every household, they or in the community, they have washrooms there where they can go. Okay, so we have already achieved the target in 2019. So this phase 1 was successful. Now then, after that, phase 2 came in 2020. Now phase 2 has come up in 2020. Now what is the aim of it? So now the aim has switched from, first of all, it was to make or establish these toilets or arrangements like that, right? But now it is to make them functional. What does it mean? That it's not like that you have just made the toilet and that is the end of it. Those should be functionary also. There should be proper water connection there, so that people can actually use that. It's not like that it just have made and that's all. Okay, so now the in next phase, the aim is more to have the continuation of what we have achieved in phase 1. Along with that, it talks about the sewage treatment or whatever the defecation that is there. It should not be left untreated, because it is going to pollute the environment, right? So in next phase we have come ahead with it. Now it falls under the Ministry of Jal Shakti. Do mind, Gramin section of Swachh Bharat mission falls under Jal Shakti. When we'll talk about urban, we will realize that it falls under some other ministry. Okay, so this is about the basic information. The aim we have already understand, right? Ensure the open defecation free behavior and sustain. So basically we talked about open defecation free initially, but now we are talking about its sustainment also, and no one is left behind. Okay, so everybody is included under this Jan Andolan. Duration of this has been assigned 2024-25, and total outlay, if we talk about, see, this was launched in the year 2020-21, right, financial year, and it is still 24-25. So if I talk about the total outlay, it is your you can look at 1,40,881 crore rupees. Okay, this is the total outlay. But if I talk about the budget that has been specially for designed for Gramin Swachh Bharat Mission Gramin for this year, for the year 2023-24, then it is your 7,192 crore. I hope you understand this is for this 1 year only, while this is the total outlay for since the sunset period it comes. Okay, and see the budget financial allocation for the particular budget, these are also important from the examination point of view. Now what are the objectives? See, objectives are quite simple. We did not actually have to go deep down in that. Solid and liquid waste management, so whatever waste that is generated, solid or liquid, okay, so proper facilities now have been become the objective in Gramin. If you talk about phase 1, at that time even to have the facilities of the toilets was the primary target, primary objective, but now it has been switched to the waste management. Okay, and are accessible, so these facility management facility should be accessible, and reinforcing ODF behavior. Reinforcing means whatever behavior that we have, whatever status that we have achieved of open defecation free, that people in India, they do not openly go and defecate. Now we have to reinforce, we have to sustain that behavior. Focus on providing intervention for safe management and solid. Okay, so we what does it mean? First of all, facility should be there, and then there should be proper management of solid and liquid waste, right? First you are providing the facility, and then you are following that also. Encourage cost effective and appropriate technology. So these technology whatever we are providing, of course we have to first make it cost effective, so that the community, they can actually buy, or even the state, they are able to implement if the cost is lesser, right? For ecological safe and sustainable sanitation, okay, so they should be cost effective, and people should be aware about them as well. To develop whenever required community managed management systems, manage sanitation system focusing on scientific. देखो, basically if you look at all read, I'm just reading them out because we have basically understood what this second phase is all about. Phase was to construct the toilets, and now is to sustain that particular status of ODF, and along with that now we are focusing on proper management of the waste that is generated. So these two idea, if you have, घुमा फिरा के हर जगह में वही आएगा, you just have to keep that in mind. Now let's look at to create scientific positive impact on gender and promote social inclusion for improving sanitation, especially in marginalized community. So basically in marginalized community, we know that there is still a difference in society, and somewhere sanitation and the way you live, that is also impacted in India, in which community you are born. And also we talk about the gender, male female, and also there are these differences, and here the objective under the Swachh Bharat Mission Gramin phase 2, it is to bridge this gap. Okay, and especially in the marginalized society, if we talk about, there we have to aware them. For them it should be a normal culture to have the sanitation and to have equality even in gender, or they should have the facilities available. Okay, these are the basic objectives. Now Govardhan initiative, Govardhan we have already covered. I have covered in, I guess, last month or last to last month. Govardhan initiative I have already covered. Do watch the session on that, it is a very important scheme, and this has been launched under phase 2. And why this Govardhan initiative was launched? It was to convert the bio waste, whatever the waste that is generated, not only the human excreta, but it also includes the farm waste, animal waste, everything, into biogas that can be utilized as a fuel, and bioslurry that can further be degraded, and these slurry are very important as a manure in agriculture field. Okay, so this Govardhan initiative, so what we are looking at in Swachh Bharat Gramin, why Govardhan initiative is under that? Because see, here we are talking about cleanliness, we are talking about sanitation, so of course this initiative will help to utilize whatever waste that has been generated to make something beneficial, right? So that is why Govardhan initiative has been launched under it. And see, under this particular Gramin phase 2 only, financial assistance of up to 50 lakh per district is available, and this 50 lakh per district will be given for what? That will be given for setting up of community and cluster model biogas plants. Now to the ones who have already seen, already have watched the lecture on Govardhan, they might know what this community model biogas plant and what is this cluster model biogas plant are, and what will be their role in providing whatever thing, whatever the manure or the biogas they will provide in the community. There was different ratio, right? I hope you remember all. Then geotagging of toilet, it is now mandatory. Okay, geotagging, it basically that will help to have the transparency. Even the working officials, government would also know that these many toilets have actually been established because there's a geotagging that has been done. They can watch it with the help of satellites in their website, that these many toilets have been made and are working, are functional in the rural areas. It is a central sponsored scheme, what does it mean? That the funding, it is distributed between center and state. So basically for normal states, and this is the usual pattern that usually follows. If there is something different, I'll definitely mention them in the PDF, but usually the ratio is 6 to 40. In the case of state, center gives 60% and state give 40%. In the case of northeast and special states, for example the Himalayan states, in that case the ratio is 90 is to 10%. 90 is given by center, 10% is by state, and in case of UTs 100% is given by the funding is done by the center government. Okay, so this is a centrally sponsored scheme. Some of the rest of the key features. Now how this fund will be utilized? Okay, so see, this is the first I'll talk about the last two, because then you will understand why. Okay, so whatever funding will be given for a particular project, up to 3% of the total program fund can be utilized by state. So first of all, there is a division. See, this second point, it deals with what the the state government can utilize, and the third point, it deals with how much the central government will utilize. Okay, so first we'll talk about, of the total, 3% will be utilized by state. For what? For the information, education and communication. So basically this Swachh Bharat, how you should have Jan Andolan. You should aware people that what is the purpose of making India ODF, or what is why you should not openly defecate, what are the harms that are caused by it, right? And all these things. So for that the Jan Andolan is there. So that is why 3% of the total program, it will be utilized for information, education and communication, and up to 1%. Do mind that it is up to that maximum of this person can be utilized, and up to 1% can be utilized for admin charges. So there will be administration charges that will be required. So up to 1% will be utilized for it. If we talk about center level, so at center level also, because see, the funding is divided between center and state, so of course they are involved in implementation, in functioning of that. So that is why money, the expenses are divided also. The fund up to 2%. So here up to 2% can be utilized by IEC. What is IEC? It is your information, education and communication and support activities at center level. So at center level 2% is given for both all the support activities and IEC, but at state level up to 3% can be utilized for IEC and 1% is for administration charges. Now whatever amount that is left, okay, that funding, it is to be utilized for the toilets at the individual household levels, at the community level, and also asset for solid and liquid waste management. Because see, now we have moved one step ahead. We have already achieved ODF status, and this we achieved in 2019, and do let me tell you that in 2020 we more than 1 lakh of the villages, they even attained ODF plus status. Now what is plus status? Plus is one step ahead, that whatever status that we have achieved, that of ODF, now it is being sustained. Along with that, we are focusing on the waste management. Okay, so now this will give ODF plus. Okay, and what is ODF plus? So we are sustaining what we have achieved in ODF plus. Along with that, we are also talking about proper sewage treatment. Okay, so if any whatever waste that is generated, that is not being left untreated, it will be considered as ODF plus status. Okay, so here currently we have more than 1 lakh have achieved ODF plus status. Okay, and this is the distribution. So funding is for I hope now you understand what are the assets we require, things, right, inputs for solid and waste liquid waste management. Okay, and this is also known as SLWM. And here, in fact, if we talk about SLWM, that is a solid and liquid waste management component of ODF plus, will be monitored on the basis of, there are 4 key factors that will be considered before making before considering ODF plus under this this management category of liquid as well as solid waste management. Okay, so what is this? How the plastic waste management that is going on? Biodegradable solid waste management is, how is it? Okay, and then grey water management is grey water. So whatever water, that waste water that is generated from a household, it can be for example, for mopping you have used water, and that now it's wasted, right? So these are the grey water, household waste water, it is known as grey water. And fecal sludge management. Fecal is whatever excreta that is generated by humans, that is the fecal sludge we are talking about, and its management. So for the SLWM components of ODF plus status, these are the following outcomes that will be considered, and then the rating will be given. Okay, So this was it, and this is the news of 6th Feb 2023 only, and there was a detailed progress on Swachh Bharat mission that was given. So both the status of Gramin, Swachh Bharat mission Gramin, and the Swachh Bharat mission Urban was discussed. Okay, and that is why this particular scheme was in news, and we discussed, and also one of you have asked me to make a video on it. So here is the two. Today we have two questions. First is, which of the following statement is correct with respect to Swachh Bharat mission Gramin, and you have to tell the right answer. Second question is, which of the following is the objectives of Swachh Bharat mission Gramin phase 2? Do mind we are talking about phase 2, and in fact in funding also we discussed of phase 2 only. You have to keep in mind that phase 1 is over, now it is phase 2. So of course the question whenever are going to be made, they will be made on phase 2. Okay, along with that, any city has got Gramin some status if they have achieved under the Swachh Bharat mission. These are the some of the current affairs that you should be aware of. So these are the two homework, and we have the toppers of the last session, in which Vaishali said the right answer, Rishabh said the right answer, and Mayank said the right answer. Karthik, why your answer is not exactly correct? Because only A was not given in the option. So you need to understand, if, and I have purposely made such kind of question, because see, if only one statement is correct, then also the answer will be none of the above, because in the option only A was not given, right? So I hope you understand that you were half right but half wrong, and uh, your name says A. So student, please keep in mind that as you look at in after end of every session, I always tell that why the particular scheme was in news. So we are already covering the schemes that are present in 6 months. Okay, I hope that will be helpful for your query, and thank you everyone for watching the session. And if you have any doubt, any query, you can always write to us. If you want me to cover any particular scheme, please let me know, I'll make a video on that. So until then, we'll meet again. All the very best for examination, and thank you.